This is the Lian O11 Dynamic Evo RGB. And just like the previous versions of the O11 Dynamic, it's got some great features. To start with, this side panel pops out very easily and slides right out. There's removable trays for the bottom, side, and top fans, so you can pre-assemble the fans to the bracket and then place them back in the case when you're ready. It supports ITX, MATX, ATX motherboards, has some really well-designed pass-throughs here for all of your cables. And if you don't plan on using this side panel for intake, there's pre-built panels in here for you to mount other things or to just block off the area and make it look nicer. Moving around to the back side of the case, we have this nice cover panel to hide all of your cable management or lack thereof. Doesn't require any sort of fastener to put it back, it's just magnetized. You can mount 2.5-inch SSDs on this panel. You can mount 2.5-inch or 3.5-inch over here on the side. And there's also 2 dedicated trays here for SSD and hard drive mounting. It seems they've also kept this cable management design from the O11 Vision, so this center bracket at least can just slide and pop off for easy management of those especially stiff cables. And as you've seen in previous designs, the power supply is mounted here at the bottom, but there's still plenty of room for all of your cables and stuff to pass through underneath the power supply. As the name implies, unlike previous versions, this actually has some built-in RGB, which you can control with these side buttons, or you can hook it up directly to your motherboard and allow it to control it. Those RGB accents you can see here along the top go all the way along the front and side, and along the bottom on the front and the side as well. So now that we've seen most of the features of it, let's see what it looks like with a PC built inside of it. All right, now that we've actually built a computer in here, let's talk a little bit more about the case. First, the side panel and the front panel both remove super easily. Look at that. Quick pop in, quick pop out. Makes everything super accessible. And if you ever want to clean the glass or something like that and just take it out, super easy. The front I/O. This is something that I don't particularly love, but the front I/O is actually down here on the bottom, so you have USB-C, your headphone jack, and a couple of USB-As. While I don't love that it's down here because it's more likely to gather dust inside or even get stepped on or something, it does have one upside. You can actually move that module. That's a separate module there. You can move it to either side of the case if you really want to get it out of the way. The next thing that I'm sure you've noticed by now, this has a 7900 XTX, 360mm AIO, a bunch of fans, and yet it looks super spacious. This isn't even the XL model, and there's so much room for activities. And if you look closely up here, you can see there is a ton of space between this top radiator and the top of the motherboard, which means there's absolutely zero issue routing your CPU power cables, your CPU fan cables, or any of that back to the back of the case nice and easily. You can actually mount up to 83mm of radiators and fans up top and 70mm of radiator and fans down below. This case could easily support custom water cooling if you wanted to. The next thing, and this is one of the coolest things about it, they actually included a GPU support that just takes up 2 of the bolts from the motherboard, and then you just bolt this assembly right on. Now, it was a little bit harder to catch with my camera, so I'm using my phone here. You can see on this GPU bracket, there's a nice little support on top, and then this bottom piece here is actually built in, and you just push this little button right here on the right side, and you can adjust the height until it's snug right up against the bottom of your GPU, making it super, super easy to avoid any sort of sag on your GPU. The next thing that I want to talk about, and this is something that I think a lot of case manufacturers overlook, and that's the accessories. They come in this box, and inside of the box you have some bracketry for mounting different size fans and radiators. You've also got this nice little tackle box thing with a bunch of dividers in it so you can separate all of your different sort of fasteners, and you can have them neatly organized after you're done building just in case you need them down the road. They also include things like some extra zip ties, some extra nice Velcro cable ties, and plenty of extra fasteners. Last but certainly not least, they've also used this very nice open cell foam. It's super soft, it's very durable, which means you can ship this more than once if you ever have to, and it's going to do a really, really good job of absorbing any sort of energy or impact, especially on those corners. All in all, I have to give this case 5 out of 5 stars. It's got high quality materials, high quality manufacturing, super well thought out design in every single aspect. It's aesthetically pleasing between the built-in RGB, all of the fan mounting, the beautiful anodized aluminum, powder coating everywhere, and the really well-designed glass panels. You can even remove this little metal piece here so you have zero obstructive view of the inside of your case. And realistically, it's a good price to performance. At $160, you get one of the best cases on the market today. Guess the only question left is, when are you gonna get yours?